all right. Hello, all of you amazing folk out there. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I see all of you. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for, popping in. I thought about it. It's a very long weekend at Gen Con, but a really amazing one, and I wanted to take a second to recap, but more importantly, I had some really awesome product that was given to me. In fact, let me just show you this stack here. Oh, sorry, that's my coffee cup. I changed my setup today. Oh, there's a storm brewing. Here, like, this is about to become the unboxing that we're going to go through. Look at this giant stack. Hello, hello, welcome in. So I thought it best for me to actually just take a moment and, look through all of this amazing stuff. And I hadn't had a chance yet because I just drove back to Atlanta yesterday. So I thought, what better time than now? So I'm going to go through all the many things that I got. Most of this is from Renegade Games. If you haven't checked it out, you should. They won an Ennie this year. We'll be going over the game they actually won the Ennie from. But if any point while we're kind of doing this and I'm chatting up Gen Con, you guys let me know, if you have questions. I did have the great opportunity of having a sit down and running Twitch all weekend for Gen Con. So if you popped into one of the many Gen Con Twitch channels, I was probably there in one of them, running the back end of things, moderating, and assuring that, things were smooth, I guess you could say. So, I don't know, I'm really excited. I want to share some of the stuff. I want to chat all things Gen Con because I think this year was particularly great. And, so for those of you that don't know, Gen Con, gaming convention, 5 days of it. Hello, yes, hello theater, long time, no see. So it's just 5 days of everything that you could possibly, piece together for gaming. So you're going to have a lot of people there releasing stuff. Now, this year's Gen Con Twitch channel did different stages, live shows. I ran the production for a lot of those. We'll talk some about the live shows that I saw because I think some of them were really amazing. I had the joy of being a part of one of them, so I can chat about that too. And, and then the other one was a studio where they interviewed game designers, new products coming out, and they took kind of a look at that. And I had the chance to sit in on that room a few times as well. So I'm excited to see. Oh no, and you only got the GM's guide. Well, you should know the GM's guide is actually new. So that starts. So there is a lot of plastic on some of this stuff. So I'm going to literally unbox some of it as we go through, but I got to move it. It's very heavy. Let's just set it over here for a second. Okay. So first things first, before I hop into all the Renegades games stuff, let's take a look here. I got a hard copy of all Scum and Villainy. I am excited to announce that the Scum and Villainy campaign, the Purloin Code, is going to end up with a full season. I've spoken with the cast. Come September, we'll be launching an 8-week campaign, very similar to kind of how we did Witch Girls. So be prepared. They are only floating in space for the next few weeks. So if you haven't and you want to be able to support that stream, I am paying my players, and I do that by taking the Patreon and supporting it amongst them. So nope, there will be no episode before them. We decided that it would be best to just leave it. So that's it. Them floating in space is where we are going to end our prologue to the Purloin Code, and we will pick up the top of season 1, how we started the prologue with them floating in space. So, yeah. Cool. So, Scum and Villainy, I'm really excited. So first off, I always have to applaud Eagle Hat, not only just for their products, but I love their book size. This is, to me, my ideal book. Like, it's the perfect size. It's easy to fit in a bag. So I always just applaud them for that because I think it really just makes, like, a huge difference. But I am excited. For those of you that have not seen it, one of the really one of the things that I always look for in my tabletop RPGs are, and specifically the books, is the art. I really, really enjoy having it in my hand, and the black pen art that is inside of this book, like the line art, is awesome. There's them like sitting around a table and eating. Let's see. There seem to be quite a few of you in chat. If you didn't know, .con was a huge success. Unfortunately, the venue was a little more lackluster than I planned, but I've already scouted a brand new location for next year. So just know that .con is happening again next year. It's going to be in a much better location, and hopefully one that remembers that we're coming. So that's that being said, it was a complete pleasure to get to meet everyone. It's always interesting to meet people and just be behind a screen, and then to have that opportunity to actually share your presence with someone really changes something. So it was truly humbling. I met, quite a few people now. Yeah, definitely plan to be there. I'm currently looking at opportunities to head to PAX Unplugged, so I am working on what that plan looks like for the top of December, but I think I'm gonna go, so Scum and Villainy, got my hands on a hard copy, very, very awesome. In fact, I also, because, there's nothing I love more than a pen. So I got two. So one of the things I did at Gen Con this year was a True Dungeon, thanks to actually Ted over at Nerdum Regime. He was always talking about True Dungeon. He's like, you got to go do this. So this was actually one of the very first things I did when I got to Gen Con. Thursday morning was our group time slot. So 10 of us show up. We did this one called Odin's Redo. And I survived. I played a druid. It was really interesting. It's like somewhere between like a LARP meets an escape room meets like... a D&D game. Like, it's really interesting. Things I really loved about it, it was accessible to everyone, which I thought, like, was a really key thing. Mobility, at least, was not an issue for anyone in our group, and it was definitely designed to be accommodating, which I really liked. There was one room in particular I thought was super immersive and I really, really loved. I definitely had some criticisms, but like the theater child in me is always like, step up your production. So I have to like be real with what's capable for like a traveling thing like that. But yeah, so did that. That was really cool. Got my pen, but in addition, I picked up I'm repping my Evil Hat enamel pen, which makes me very happy. So yes, the Mind Flare was baller, though. I will give you that, Sab. I will. Yeah, there was, my favorite room was, probably the, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but my favorite room was the drinking room. You, like, walk in and they had, like, a whole table where everybody gets to take a seat, and there's, like, mugs on the table, and you can, like, there's, like, you have to chant together to chug-click your cups, and you click your cups, and then when you're all done, you, like, slam your cup down, and if you guys did it right, your cup lights up, and then you get to drink and, like, move on. It was just a really fun, like, our group just, it was, like, a really big breath of fresh air. Like, we all got to, like Viking cheer together. So anyways, Scum and Villainy. So, I picked up a few things for myself. I did not buy any dice. I went to Gen Con this year and I bought no dice. Not happening. So, Scum and Villainy. There it is. I'm going to put it over here so you can see it. Bought myself an Evil Hat pen. I have a soft spot for coffee mugs. So I bought this one because I thought it was cute. It says, "That's how I roll." And it's got all these cute little characters on it. Like, look at them. Oh, obsessed. Yeah. Yep. So anyways, bought myself a coffee mug. Okay. Not that I needed another coffee mug, but I love it. Okay. Let's jump into, so first things first, let's talk about this one, because I think this is really kind of what has put them on the map as a game design company, and then I can go through and talk about more. So, Renegade Games, I dropped by their booth incredible game company. Now, if you like board games, that's kind of what they do most, I would say. But if you have played Kids on Bikes, which is kind of their like big one, it is just what it sounds like. It's a tale of kids on bikes. And yeah, how could I leave the poor dice behind? Let me tell you guys, I don't need dice. Like I went over to who carries it? Indie Press is what carries all of Evil Hat stuff. So I went over there because they also had fudge die. And so I was like, oh, I think I'm going to buy more fudge die. Then I realized I don't play Fate with anybody in person. I never get to roll like real fudge die. I would rather have bought like all this incredible, all like books and stuff than die because I get to use it more. Just is. Now that being said, Kids on Bikes. So, fantastic book. Like, amazing. And if I'm correct, this is... Let me double check. They've got to have a list. I just want to make sure I get this right. Let's see. 2019... Yeah, here we go. Okay, so they do have it. So let's see. Yeah, so this got won an Emmy for, I believe, Best Family Game product. Which is very exciting. This is just like, it's so great. So Kids on Bikes is basically your like go to 80s kid adventure. So this is actually a new release that they've put out of Kids on Bikes that has an expansion in it. So they're considering this is called the Deluxe Edition. And the Deluxe Edition has these extra pieces in the back, which are hysterical. I was looking through them earlier today. So first off, it comes with like a series of like prompts, like game prompts, and they're just 2-page adventures, which I think is brilliant. Really love it. And they're cheeky. The names of them are so cheeky. Like, there's one in here that I loved called Dads on Mowers. And Dads on Mowers. Look, and then like, okay, let me see if I can give you guys the art. I don't know if I can. No, I can't. Well, I kind of can with the camera up here. Like, it's just these like dads in like tube socks and short shorts mowing lawns. Like, I'm just so tickled by it. So I came by to chat with him about this game, and so I stopped in, and she was like, well, now we've got Teens in Space. Yeah, Teens in Space, which of course is the sci-fi like edition of it. It makes me want to run like a Xenon. Wasn't it Xenon was her name? She was like Teens in Space. So expect, I had a chat with a few people, so expect this to come into play. If you haven't seen either of these before, I really think the joy of it is, they have a little comic at the front, which I think is cute. Yeah, like Voltron could totally be run using this. I wanted to show you guys the character sheet because one of the things I love about it is the simplicity. You know that I'm really I'm a rules light GM. I think I always rather prefer to stick with story. And one of the things that I think says a lot about a game is not only the design itself of like how the game is played, but how your game is presented is so important. This is the character sheet, which I just love. Like, I love that so much. It's so simple. You got your little backpack where you put your tokens and stuff. It's just a very simple sheet. So expect me. I will be running one of the two of these. The Teens in Space one got a character sheet update, obviously, because like backpacks in space are like HUD decks and stuff, right? So like, hang on. I haven't gone through this one to see what some of the like changes are. There are definitely some species like options, and you do get a ship. Like you have a ship as teens, so that's something that gets added to this. Man, I thought I saw it. Kids on Bikes, of course, because it is very much built off of that, like, idealistic kind of stereotypical children's like adventure movie like the Goonies or Sandlot. You do, when you build the character, you choose a like stereotype, right? Wasn't it, Theater Nerd? Like, I loved that movie. She was always so cool and she dressed it so swanky, and I just like, yeah. Oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. I found it. Yeah, character sheet. So you guys can see this one's even updated. But again, it's a very simple, like, single page. Hey, Anarch! So just note, that's the page there. So yeah, so there he is. Kids on Bikes, Teens in Space. Next lineup to be played. Now, they gave me a few things because obviously, like, I'm going to be playing as much as humanly possible. But one of my favorite things they gave me, that is kind of just like a true joy to go along with Kids on Bikes, is the DMs folder. Let me see if I can back it up so you can get the whole. Okay? It's like a school folder, but on the inside of it, it has like all your DMs rules to one side. You can see, like up here, you can take notes. Actually, let me see if I can move my camera down. Hang on. Wait. No. No, I am not. Let's see. I think I can move it down. Get some more of it. Let me just make sure I can get a little bit. There we go. That's what I want. I think it's, oops. There we go. Now you guys will get more of the product. So yeah, here's this little folder. It's called the Kids on Bikes character folder. I'm in love with it. I think it's amazing. It's got rules on one side and guidelines for like things up here, and you can put like your character information, and then it's got like your pockets because it's a pocketed folder, right? So you can like put all your stuff in it. Like, it's so cute. It's got like little like I'm obsessed. Like, obsessed. This was one of my other favorite little gifts that I got. All right. So the good news is I got some extra copies. We're going to be doing some giveaways. So just know that there will be things coming for that. Let's go ahead and I'll just... All right. Yes, doesn't it, Steph? It reminds me of those like book covers where it's like, see Jane run, Jane and Dick like that. It's just like so cute. Like I said, when game designers take the extra step to make not only the game itself this thing that really immerses you, but those additional things, the little stuff like the physical design. Oh yeah, the little golden books, yeah. But the physical design, the visual of it sets a tone and a reality for it, and I just think Renegade Games does such an amazing job of that. Not only do they create a product that you're just like super stoked to check out, they also have this design piece, and I'm going to keep bragging on them because I've got a heck a lot more. So let's go. I'm going to save the three ones I did not expect to walk away with. I'm going to save that, okay? This is one that was given to me. I haven't even unboxed it. We're going to open the plastic. I have no idea what's inside here, so we're going to do a live unboxing. Icarus is a storytelling game about how great civilizations fall, which I find very intriguing. So let's pop the plastic on this guy, shall we? I say that. Oh, come on, plastic. Ah, so close. There it goes. Alright, so let's pop plastic on this guy. Okay. Okay. Pretty good, Anarch. I am recuperating from a very long weekend. It was a pleasure to get to run Gen Con's Twitch channel, but it was also very long days, very little sleep, and then after working like an 8-hour day yesterday, I like basically drove 8.5 hours. So I got in about 3 a.m. this morning, and then I slept and worked from home today, so I worked a few hours and I took a nap. So I'm finally, like, I got a shower. I finally feel like I'm back in my own body and space, and like, so I'm just trying to catch up a little bit here. Okay, so I don't know anything about this, but she told me that I would love it, and I trust them, so here we go. Nice, tightly sealed box. Okay, here's our rule book. Again, tiny, simple. Let's see what it says. A storytelling game about how great civilizations fall. Okay. They have safety tools. That's always, you know, as I get older, and I play more games, having safety tools and information about lines and veils in every book is one of those things that really just makes me happy. Alright, so it is a GM-less game. You guys know I love GM-less games. Okay, so we separate... Ooh. Oh, dice. Bag of dice. Deck of cards, which I'm sure I'm going to have to work up. And then aspect. Oh, look, it comes with a little paper pad, which is really cute. Okay. Alright, so nice put together box, but I'm going to move that off and up here to the side so we can. Put it up here. Okay. I got these dice. We've got our aspect little pad here. So I guess I need to open this box now. Oh, this is called the story deck. I saw a lot of people this weekend with packs of For the Queen in their hand, and it makes me very happy. You guys know I love that game. I carried mine around in my backpack all weekend, hoping to get to play with someone. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so we separate the cards, it says. Okay. So very simple, very clear to read. These have a lot more stuff on them. Health. So it must be separated into specific stacks. So this says, this must be some kind of prompt card. It's like black. Icarus is a shadow of the great city it once was. Leave this card face up. From here forward, instead of drawing a card on your turn, further escalate an existing aspect on the table. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. So the backs of them are all different, so I'm guessing that's how we separate them, maybe. Not 100% sure. Okay, here are fallen people cards. So yeah, there must be, yeah, okay, so that's like a deck, and then this must be, they said there's five sections of them, which I think I just found them all. So you separate them up into 5 is what this says. So it looks like the idea is that together you're collaboratively building a society or some kind of civilization. So to set up the game, separate the cards in their 5 main parts. Pillars of society, so I'm guessing these are pillars. Whoops. Let's try that again. And this says like health, education, artistic expression, safety, communication, which is pretty cool. And then cracks in our facade, motives, cracks in our facade, the rifts between us, and the final hours, and the bitter end. So these are the rifts between us. This says motive. These must be... Oh, that one goes for that one. Cracks in our facade. The bitter end. Oh, these are more pillars. Oh, okay. I see what's happening here. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. The bitter end. Huh. Oh, this gives a little note. There are ways to use normal poker deck to play Icarus. See the Oracle section near the back. So you can play this game. Oh yeah, it was a very nice con haul. I'm not even halfway through yet. So this is definitely gonna have to get played. I'm wondering when I figure it out. Oh, look at that artwork. Oh, sorry. Beautiful. So yeah, I'll have to figure this one out. This was not one I planned to walk away with, but was given, so... interesting. Got these big old dice, so... Alright. Let's pack this one up and break out something else. So this one's going to get played. I need to check and see what the Roll20 stitch for this would be, because technically, Roll20 has a card system, and if it can be played with just a regular deck of cards, like poker cards, then I could possibly build the deck and we could still play it live, since I've got the rule book, so we'll have to see. Alright. Nice little sturdy box for it, which I appreciate. Oh, that's got to be, that's the... Oh, okay. Here's, this must be their, if you love board games, you really should check them out. That's kind of their, like, big to-do. But they're, obviously, I mean, they won an Emmy this year, so their tabletop games are clearly getting love as well. Okay, let's put all that back together. Okay. Next. Alright. This is what I'm very excited about. The next two are going to be bigger combos, but this one I'm really excited about. So you guys know I've been wanting to run, like I've been in this interesting mood to run, like seafaring adventures and things. I am now very, very excited to show you that I have picked up the North Sea Epilogues, which is a Viking-based tabletop game made by Renegade. Yeah. Looks like they partnered with Dice Up Games and Garp Hill Games to produce this, but let's take the plastic off, shall we? Oh, come on, open. Can't get my hands on the plastic. I have a pair of scissors, like, right behind me, which I could go get. I'm also still getting over sickness, gang. Like, I am just like, I don't know what is up with my body. It's because I'm working too much and not sleeping enough. Okay. Oh, it is. It's one of the board games. Okay, so this must have come off of a board game of theirs, because this is their role-playing game, which I'm very excited about. There we go. Handled it. Okay. First off, again, amazing art. Like, I'm just... always so floored by their art. Okay, so let's take a look in here. So this one, oh man. Look at this guy. Yeah, it is. It's super awesome. So, this looks to be, I just want to know, I don't know what the roll system is. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, most of this is pretty standard, like RP, like, here's how you roleplay. So it does look like there's a difficulty level assigned to the role. Yeah, the art is really, really great. Oh, look at these guys. They're so fierce. I love his beard. Who is the artist for this? It doesn't say. It just says designed by Kim, excuse me, and Kristen Devine. Alright, so this is getting into it, but I don't see your... Alright, let me hit... This is why we have a table of contents, right? Like, why would I be that person? Okay, so playing the game setup. Alright, let's go. I bet it's gonna be there. Ooh! You know what I really love? That there are a lot of women in this book. That makes me really happy. Alright, well here's an example of the character sheet. A little bit more dense, but it looks like everything fits on the... So it looks like there's a grit system. The game flow. Oh, that's nice. They put game flow at the bottom of the character sheet for you. So it says, interesting. This, huh. Okay, so it does use a 20-sided die. So each player should have their hero sheet, a pencil eraser, and a 20-sided die. So it does use a 20-sided die system. But it looks like that's the only thing. So everything's rolled with a d20. Alright, let's flip through and get some other cool stuff out of this one. So it looks like you do have to pick a clan, obviously. That's going to be really important. They have a piece in here about hero versus hero conflicts and then hero versus player conflicts. Or player versus player. Looks like they have something for cinematic scenes. Oh, they have a mechanism. Oh, this is great. Okay. Vikings are battle, like, ready folk, right? Which means that you're going to end up in mass combat. And one of the things that D&D just doesn't have, or has never had, at least in my opinion, has been, like, a really quality, like, mass combat system. And that's what this is. They call them cinematic scenes. So, yeah, so they kind of talk you through how it works. And you set it up by what are known as challenges. Yeah, so the scene should continue until all challenges have been overcome. So you must set it by, like, yeah, that's really cool. Oh, you can gain a reputation. Oh, look at this guy. Like, oh, they're fierce too. So this is all their gear. So many women in this book makes me happy. So happy. So happy, you guys. So this is something else I really love about Renegade, and I'm noticing this is a pattern in all of their tabletop books. All of their books, Kids on a Bike, Kids on Bikes, Teens in Space, and the next two we're going to go through, they have, like, module stories inside. It's not separate. You don't have to buy more content from them. You have prompts right here. So this one's called The Grey Wolf Saga. They're very short, like 2-3 pages. Sometimes they're not even that long. And they just set you up with, like, what you need to run inside of. Yeah, there's like it's your story. All your hooks are here. There's like random roll tables. Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, like, look, they've got tons of adventure modules. Like, pages of them. This is a listing of adventure modules in this book. That's so very cool. Let's see what else. Okay, here's some really cool, more pictures. This book is really beautiful. The art in this, I am so surprised somebody did not win for the art. It's just really, it's really unique. Like, there's a very heavy style to it. So, here's the character sheet, or one of them. I think that's actually called the difficulty sheet, is what they were talking about. That's a GM thing. Here we go. That's the character sheet. Alright, so this is now in my hands. Which, we all know what that means, right? We're gonna have to play some Vikings. We're gonna have to play some Vikings. So that's now on the table, which wasn't even on the table before. All right. Now, I got two other things. We're going to save my favorite one for last because I got a lot to unbox for it. But the next one we're going to talk about is one that I didn't even know was out there. And one I hadn't actually, a game concept I had seen a couple people try to put in on top of other stuff, but I'm glad to know that this one exists. So Renegade Games also has a zombie outbreak book. So, pretty sweet. Sorry, I'm reading chat. I'm like reading all you guys are talking. So, yeah. Not only, so the Survivor's Guide has been on the market, I think, for a little bit. One of the things that's relatively new is the Game Master's Guide, which I also managed to get my hands on. So, I have not really cracked these open too terribly much. It does seem to be, the system, the die system seems to be a little, different for this one. I haven't completely gone through, but this is definitely a survival horror game, as you might imagine. But I love again the design. Their books really bring you into like the world. Yeah, me too. It's so legit. Like, look at that. They really just make you want to like be in the world of it. So, what is survival horror? Who are you? Okay, so dice overview. So, 2 10-sided dice is recommended. That one of the dice be labeled 0 to 9 and the other be labeled 00 to 90. So, okay, so basically your 2 D100s. A D6, you do have to have a D5. A D5, which is, of course, a special-sided D6. And a D3, but they're saying here you can be rolled whenever the rules call for a D3. You can just roll it and half it, like a D6 and half it. So Outbreak Undead features color-coded D6 called D5 to allow players to build a dice pool to determine all the results of a check with a single roll. These dice feature a special face on them that's normally the 6 side. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you can see it's really cool. They've laid this out kind of nicely right up here. You can see. So you need D10 and your special D6. Very cool. So it looks a little bit like it's very kind of similar to the Genesis system in a narrative way. That's like there's no flat fail. Instead, dependent upon like the colors that you get in your roll depend on like how it all comes out. So, woo, man. One of the cool things, here's the character sheet. One of the cool things I love is the virus strand, so you can become infected. It's definitely, so if you guys hang out in the Discord, Zach, who I plays on North by Northwest, he runs a lot of Genesis and quite enjoys it, is my understanding. So yeah, and he's got, I think in the Discord we have a Genesis section where you can actually roll Genesis die, and he's gone through it a couple times to like explain how it works and all that jazz. But yeah, it's definitely a narrative dice-based system. You can tell this is a little bit more complicated. The sheet is definitely more complicated. But there are a few things about it I really like. I like this viral strand and strain. It has a section for your psyche because I'm sure over time, yeah, so here are your attributes: strength, perception, empathy, and willpower. And then you've got all these basic skills, all these basic skill sheets. And you guys can't see it, but next to each one is 2 boxes, which probably tells me, and one of them has a percentile. So that's probably how you roll your D10s, or where that comes in. Here's the second page, which looks to be like a special equipment and effects. So this one's going to take me a lot more time to get through. Like, this is a serious... there are multiple modes of play, too. They've got one called Arcade Mode. And it's a simplified down version that only has the information you need for Arcade Mode. I might have to look into that. Might just be a simpler way to be able to play it online with everyone. Huh. This talks about cards, which I definitely don't have, but that's okay. Those can be acquired. Pretty cool stuff. It does come with a slew of pre-generated characters, which is very helpful. So if you wanted to do a quick startup of the game and just have your friends, like a video game, choose pre-made characters set in this apocalypse world, they do have the full character sheets along with the character like breakdowns, which is also helpful too. Let's be real, for your DMs, right? Oof. Yeah, there's a lot of information. Oh, another thing I really love about Renegade games, they put bookmarks in their stuff. Which the, like, nerd in me is always like, ooh, shiny bookmark. Oh, interesting. There's a website that you answer a survey and it gives you your spew. I love that, so you could play as yourself. Oh, Violated Gorilla, that is really cool. That's really cool. I like that. That actually that's probably how I would do it. If I was to run it for Sunday Fun Day, I'd have everybody, like, pre-populate themselves. Hey, Cole. Yeah, I know. I slept a lot today. I am not full of all the vigor, but I'm still reeling from what was a pretty incredible weekend. Yeah, I got to play Dungeon World for the first time this weekend, and with Adam Cole, and that was kind of a very humbling and ridiculously fun and exciting experience. That VOD is up on Gen Con's Twitch channel if you guys want to go check that out. I can link you later for it, but yeah, there's a lot, a lot in here. Some additional things. It looks like they've got things for, like, animal fellowship. So people love to have animals in games, and they don't usually have mechanisms for, like, training them or keeping them. For those of you that have just popped in, we're doing a kind of unboxing. I got a slew of products from Renegade Games, and so I've been going through it. One of which currently we're peeping through is the Survivor's Guide for Outbreak Undead. I also picked up the new Game Master's Guide for it, so let me show you that. All the juggalos. All those juggalos. So there's even more stuff in here. This is more about narration. It talks about the pandemic's playtime, which I think is really interesting, like the concept of the virus itself being a portion of what the GM has to, like, maintain, which I think is really cool. I always like games that give special stuff for the GM to also play with. Alright, let's see what else I got here. Yeah, all kinds of things. So, like, this, so I'll tell you, I think of all the games I picked up, Outbreak Undead is one of the most excitings. But it is a very dense game, and probably obviously has a lot of mechanisms to it. So I'm very excited about it. I think I need to run it, but I need to definitely. I'm gonna have to do a lot of reading. I mean, this is 2 books here. So yeah, but I did get my hands on them. Alright, let's move our stack back. Ugh. And let me show you the one that I am most excited about. This is a game that I had not heard of. Oh, and I should mention this before I move out. I did manage to this is an intro manual. Free RPG Day, they gave these out for Free RPG Day. And so I got, like, a beginner's guide to this. So this may be my first means of reading it, and then I can pop into the bigger book, but I totally forgot I got that. So this other game, I had no idea it was even a thing. Didn't even know if it was out there on the market until I ran by Renegade's booth and was kind of just chatting with them. And it caught my eye for a slew of reasons. Most importantly, the book is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that's first thing. Second is, anytime, I love, you guys know I love running games outside of D&D, but fantasy can be so much more than just kind of a skew on medieval kind of lore. I really like fantasy games like, for example, the Owl of Lycia, that kind of amps up what fantasy can actually look like. And this book in particular has me extremely, extremely interested. So this game is called Overlight. I have picked up a few things for it. Here's the book. If you can look at this book and not want to run this game, I can understand that. I absolutely cannot, look at that. No, I've reviewed the Kids on Bikes and Teens in Space. I got both of those as well. But look at this game. So they call this game a role-playing game of kaleidoscopic journeys. Which I think is really cool. So I've got a few things here that they gave me. I got a couple expansion manuals. I got a free RPG day. I haven't opened it up yet, but I got a Game Master screen. So let's pop that open first, and then I'll break the book open. I also got dice, and I'm gonna open the dice as well. I guess I lied to you guys. I didn't technically buy the dice; they were given to me, but I do have them. I just thought about that. So let's see what's in here. All right, unboxing. Right, the art is jaw-dropping, guys. Jaw-dropping. Okay, so let's see what I've got here. So it looks like Skyborn. Do I already have that one? If I do, I'll do it. No, okay, cool. So this looks like another module. Skyborn Order and the Game Master screen. Here's the Game Master screen. Oh, that's just paper. Let's see. Pop open, say I. What is on it? Oh, there it goes. Game Master screen. Ooh! I'll show you guys the four sides of it this way, because obviously I can't break it out. Look at that guy. Okay, so let's take a look. This is one I've been most excited about. I tried so hard not to read it before I did the full unboxing. Yeah, it is. I'm obsessed. I haven't even. Let's see what the inside looks like. Oops, I got it backwards. Okay. Yeah, so your basic kind of GM inside, right? So you're looking at skill descriptions, the types of tests that they would kind of undergo. It has the 7 virtues of the Overlight, of course, with their symbols, so that's a quick reference. And then the 7 shards of the Overlight. Yeah. Okay, so that's the Dungeon Master screen. It comes with, I guess, like I said, this specific adventure called the Skyborn Order and its enemies. Might have to speed myself up. It looks like it's getting ready to storm here. Okay, so let's actually crack the book open, and then I'll show you some more of the fun things I got. Book, beautiful, amazing. Again, I am always I'm always looking for books that have open representation, that are bringing new ideas to a fantasy setting, and I really just think this book nailed it. Just nailed it. So let's take a look. So, who's the artist on this? Illustrator. Kwanchai Moryai? I'm sure I said that all wrong, no doubt. Ooh. Let's see. This says, before suns and moons and light, there was a great emptiness that did not know itself. It had no eyes to see itself, no hands to feel its face, and no tongue to taste its breath. So from the center of this beginningless awareness, an invisible flame burned into being, and from its warm heart came the light. And so it was that the first light came to be. Wow. Wow. That's interesting. I actually don't know. Let's find out. Is it a new system or like another? I think in this case it is its own system, like it's its own full book. Um, so what is kaleidoscopic fantasy? When we think of fantasy, most of us conjure up images of elves, wizards, and dragons. We think of tales strongly rooted in Western folklore. Kaleidoscopic fantasy draws its DNA from some very different places. Most importantly, the aesthetic tone is quite distinctive. Kaleidoscopic fantasy springs from the artwork of such luminaries as, and it lists a bunch of people, bright colors, a righteous explosion of life, and fantastic beasts rooted more in the natural world than in nightmarish visions. So I love that. So one of the things I told her, I was like, I am, what I call psychedelic fantasy is like one of my favorite things. And I want to bring this. I'm going to have to run this game. I just love that. The sweeping overworldly landscapes. Okay. So they talk about Roger Dean, who, if you guys don't know, Roger Dean was a, he did progressive album covers in the 60s and 70s for a lot of bands, and was very heavily psychedelic. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So they say Roger Dean is a huge inspiration for the way the world exists. So in the setting of Overlight's an unusual one, there are 7 continents called shards, which float in the sky above an infinite sparkling sea. These 7 shards maintain their vertical positions relative to one another, while they slowly float about in patterns that have been largely indecipherable to the people of this world. Far above them is an unending sky, bright and radiant. So it definitely has this very abstracted feel of the way worlds are created. It's not all kind of biological. So the 7 shards they have here are spirit, wisdom, logic, compassion, will, vigor, and might. And they all correspond with the color of a prism. Yeah, you can totally see the bars. Look at that. So each section is a color. That's really cool. You're right, yeah. What a nice little feature. There's no sun or moon. How is time measured? No sun or moon, and technically no hours or minutes or days or years. But for the sake of your fellow player's sanity, we suggest you continue to use common nomenclature for units of time. I love that. It's a timeless place. Literally. Time is not told this way. Suns don't set, moons don't rise. It's a place of infinite color and light. So the sky just continues on forever? Yes. And so does the sea below. The planet and the entire universe was quite literally turned inside out. The shards exist in an infinite space floating above an infinite sea. Wow. Wow. I'm just I'm reaming with ideas, just flipping through this book. Some art. This giant bat-like creature. Weird. So it talks about each of the shards. Look at that. Yeah, basically, literally, it's like building a world based on a kaleidoscope. So this talks about all of the islands. Wow, look at that. Look at this guy. I was about to say, no giant tentacles. No, this is more of fantasy, not horror. This is one of my favorite images in the whole book. This is the one I'm drawn back to. Oh. Yeah, definitely no Cthulhu's. So they have definitely some interesting classifications of, or categorizations for classes. Let's see if I can pull some of them. Alright, so here's one. Playing a Binyari. Most insular and disconnected of all the cultures of the seven, the Binyari have traditionally lived peaceful lives among plants and animals of the Great Forest and the Malkanite Plains. So it's very encouraging to play, like they want you to play what you want to play. The Harkeen seem to be your kind of like more human race. Yeah, more dreamlands. Yeah, it makes me think of like surrealism. It's like very surreal. Just, oh, so clean. The book is so clean. Oh, look at that. Experience and advancement. Combat encounters. The world of Overlight is a dangerous place, and between ferocious animals and cruel people, sometimes there's not you can do but respond with a blade or a fist. So what I need to find, I want to see how the game is actually played. Hang on, let me go back to the, I got a little carried away flipping through with art. Yeah, and not standard like, you know, fantasy races like elves and stuff. This is it's definitely like whimsical fantasy. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Just test comedy goes. Wow. I'm just like, oh my god, so much content. Wow. Let me see. I want to just scroll. I thought I'd pull up the character sheet. Yeah, here it is. Wow. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading all of your stuff. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, I've played a lot of games. I've played low fantasy, right, where like magic isn't quite there yet. You're in this kind of Dark Ages type vibe. I've played high fantasy. This book and something about it feels very different. And maybe it's not so much different as maybe it's not so much different as this. There's something about this game in particular that inspires me. And it inspires me to think outside of the usual circle of like fantasy that I go to. It has opportunity for something that's just interesting and told from like new and different perspectives, and I think I really like that. I also, if you guys can't tell, I love color, and I use color a lot as an inspiration for myself, and so to have a game that's literally based on the prismatic breakdown of color is really interesting to me. So you can see like you get all of your man, God, I want to play this. So it does look like, from what I can tell, this is based on a multiple die pool. Kind of the way Witch Girls is done, where you assign a dice to... that's actually how Kids on Bikes and Teens in Space is done. So like your D20 is assigned to one thing, your D10, your D12, each of them get assigned. Gosh, so cool. Really cool. Let's see what else I got. So they do have some story prompts, so you wouldn't have to build a homebrew. They do have story prompts in the back, along with like the NPCs you might need for them. Like there's just so much great influence coming out of it that I just really, really love. It's one of the reasons why I loved Pirates of Darkwater. I talk about that one all the time. One of the things I loved about it is not every pirate dresses in black and gray, right? Like, the beautiful, cool thing about that show is the world that it took place in was vibrant and full of life and color. Yeah, no, from what I can tell, it's definitely like once you select everything, you just end up putting like what are your dice pools. So 6d8, 3d12, you just put it in. These guys are kind of crazy. Yeah, and the shards have different things that they're known for. Wow. They talk about chroma. It seems to be, I'm not entirely sure because I have not read it, but from what I can tell, chroma seems to be what the system that's used to spend to do special things. Like, chroma is based on color, obviously, and your color has certain things that are assigned or used with it. Let's see if I can read more about chroma and what that is. Yeah. So, like, here, it tells you, like, different things that you can do, right? So, under each of your, depending on what shard you come from, and Harken, so, like, for example, so if you go Harken, right, and you're playing a Harken character, you have a default will rating of a D8, a default inspiration and resolve rating of a D6. So, this book does require you to have the full spectrum of die. And then you have a series of what they call backgrounds. And the backgrounds are probably what we would be like class, like the things that categorizes you. You're actually right, Anarch. Yeah, they were relatively colorful, their clothing. But I'm talking more of like pirates in particular. I think I was talking about a lot of pirate lore, they all dress in blacks and grays, not medieval. So that's why I love Pirates of Darkwater specifically. Yeah, so like it's got, you could be an air harbor dock worker, an apprentice, a grifter, performer, street tough, master historian. Huh. Armorel? Huh. Yeah, like merchant prince. Very interesting. Like, there's so much that I just want to sit down and read it all. Okay, so chroma, here we go. So I'm in the chroma section now. Let's see what it says. Let me go to the top of that. Wounds and healing. Experience and advancement. Radiant power. That's what I was looking for. In essence, the overlight is an undifferentiated light with no inherent meaning or purpose. It simply is. However, once the overlight passes through the energetic and spiritual systems of the Skyborn, it is bent, twisted, folded, fractured, dovetailed, and refracted into all manner of wondrous effects, providing the powers that dazzle and terrify the folks and beasts of the shards. That being said, once the overlight has transmuted within the Skyborn, it becomes as much the Skyborn as it remains the overlight. The content, it's literally like... me too, Anarch. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, the language that's used and the way it talks about things, not in like yeses and nos. Like, it's not this or this. The light is this, it's a concept. It's a concept. And within that concept as a GM, I find it extremely inspiring because there's so much that can be done with it. So, nonetheless, this is, okay. Chroma-wielding NPC in a way that makes them unique and makes their use of chroma powers potentially character-defining. For example, consider the chroma, so chroma must be what they consider like the magical energy or this magical light-based essence. So, for example, consider the chroma Wrathful Strike. This is a might-oriented chroma with a pretty straightforward effect. It makes your punches hurt more because they are wreathed in flame. Let's explore the way this could work as expressed through a few different character concepts. So you're playing this Zenith Order monk named Chobayam. Summons an entwined pair of flaming serpents that rise like a helix around his spine and then separate at the nape of his neck. The serpents coil about each arm, and then, when Chobayam reaches out with his fist, open their mouth and erupt into a ball of flame that seat about his open palm. So there's this really cool idea where magic is not like, this is just what it is. You cast X, Y, and Z using this ingredient. These are just really cool examples. I like them. So this is Shahara. A Harkane pickpocket remembers the coldest night she has ever spent on the Hark streets. She conjures images of her own hunger, her wants for a blanket, the neglect in the eyes of each person with whom she pleaded for tools of survival, and the resentment she immediately felt when she was ignored. From this inner need, she conjures a spark, and it fans it with the desperate need and bitter anger, and she holds out her hand in the traditional gesture of the requested elms. Her hands crackle with tongues of lashing blue flame. Yeah, that's so cool. Like, here's a pickpocket who's cold and on the streets, and from the sheer anger that she feels for the amount of people that ignored her on the street tonight, she's able to conjure up a flame to keep herself warm. That is so conceptual, and I love it. Like, I cannot say enough good things about this. I'm gonna have to run this game, like, without a shadow of a doubt. So then they take your chromas and they kind of break them down. There's, like, wisdom chroma, and they talk about that. Let's see, they'll probably have more. Logic chroma. Compassion chroma. Will chroma. Oh, wait, we did that one already. Vigor. So everything, so basically all of your stats are attached to a chroma, is from what I can tell. So, before I sit here and go through this whole book with all of you, I saved this one for last because I think I'm most excited about it. I think I'm just, like, the most excited. I have so much to play, but this book has blown my mind, and it makes me want to write a psychedelic, like, fantasy game for all of you. So, I say that because I also have, along with it, they gave me The Birthright of Kar Yulin, this was their free RPG day pickup. I got The Child of Zenith, and then I've got, I wonder if what is this one? Oh, this must also be an adventure. This must be their first one. Yeah, like, look. Look at that one. Wow. Like, just wow. Feels like you're staring into a painting at all points, and there's something I really love about that. Let's see what this is. Does this one have any art? This all has the art from the book. No, that's new. So anyways, I got 3 of those. Then to top it off, the last, but certainly not least, I picked up a deluxe spirit dice set. So they gave me these. I'm going to pop them open and roll them and probably put them back in. Oh, no, I'm not. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with them. So this is, spirit dies are used via D4. I'm very excited. So you have the color for each one of the chromas and the shards. And each one, I don't know if you can see it or not, has a different symbol for the spirit at the 4 point. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I haven't opened them up yet because... Yeah, so it's not a complete D4. This is very specific for the spirits. This is a special dice set that they put out. You can use any D4 technically for it. But this one is their, like, branded overlight one. So I think I'm going to hang on to this because when I'm going to say when I play this game. Looks like I might have to do a little dice giveaway. The real problem is none of this is in Roll20, so I'm going to have to figure out the Roll20 for this, but that's okay. I'm here for it. Like, I'm super duper here for it. Like, just, oh, so beautiful. Okay. That is the haul. That is what I hauled away. I hauled away so much stuff. Let's actually see how much Dot hauled away from Gen Con this year. Oh my god. Okay. There it is. There's the Horde stack of what came back with me. In addition, I did take away one other thing, and I'll show this all to you. So there is, I have a comic that I love called Rickety Stitch. So I have this, first off, I have this, they may have animations now, but the comic books are just brilliant. It's called Rickety Stitch book series. I'm going to drop you guys a link. All right. So Rickety Stitch is another one of my favorites because it's a very different kind of view of the, yeah, it is a Dot Horde. Yeah. So I want to first off thank Renegade Games for giving me a giant stack of things to run. It was a humbling experience getting to meet them and to talk gaming with them, and it warms my heart to know that they won their Innie this year for Kids on Bikes. So, yeah. So, back to Rickety Stitch. So, here's the link to Rickety Stitch. I love Rickety Stitch. There's videos. I think they have animations, if I remember correctly. But you can kind of learn about them. But it's a kind of a fantasy graphic series novel that follows a skeletal bard named Rickety Stitch. And I simply love it. So I dropped by this year to go fangirl because they always have their booth. And when I came by this year, they let me know that they have a RPG out. That they currently have an RPG that they are going to be playtesting in the world of Rickety Stitch. So what I'm going to do is pull up. Actually, let me see. Did I get I got a digital RPG of it. Let me quick pull that up, and I'll have that for us so that we can look at it. Let's see. Here we go. Our download's ready. I'll pull it up for all of us. So, it's called... So, this takes place in the land of M, I believe is, if I remember correctly, what the name of the... Let's pop that out. Okay, I'm going to go capture this so I can show it to you guys. Let's window capture. Alright, let me pop this back here for all of us to take a peeky peek at. We'll get some... Whoops, too far. There we go. So here it is. It's so stinking cute, I can't stand it. So I dropped by, I told them, like, kind of who I was and what was going on, and they were like, well, if you like this, then you need to check out this RPG that where it's in beta mode right now. So, in essence, in the world of M, this is Rickety Stitch. Monsters and things like that are just trying to live their best life. Like, a gelatinous cube is not necessarily, or ooze as they call it, is not necessarily bad or innately bad. He's just trying to be his best jelly cube he can be. And it's kind of this inspiring little RPG. So I haven't even cracked it open yet. So this is based on the fantasy graphic novel series Rickety Stitch and the Gelatinous Goo. So it looks like you got your classes: Loyal Chum, Knight, Errant, Gnome, Underling, Dungeoneer. So I am going to probably playtest this for them because they gave it to me for free. So this is a D12 system, which you guys should know makes me very happy because I love D12s. Very simple, like start to finish of it, but cute little book. You can tell it's definitely in beta. They haven't put all the art in yet, but I'm sure that they will. And one of the things that I really love about their art, let me actually go to Rickety Stitch for all of you. Their art is one of the things that really draws me in the first time. So here's like their book trailer. Like you can just see the artwork is so stinking cute. They've even got a lore section. Oh, God, I love little Rickety Stitch. He's so stinking cute. He's like a little Bart. Anyways, okay. So there's me nerding out. I did I'm excited to possibly look at that one, too, as an option. It is very cute. Right, where, like undead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so started as a comedic dungeon tale about a skeletal bard and a gelatinous goof 15 years ago. Since then, the story has expanded into high fantasy adventure that will span a series of graphic novels. So you can check out all of their stuff. I dropped the link there for you guys. But this is also, like, this guy riding a snail. Yeah, I'll definitely be playtesting this at some point. So this may become a Sunday fun day as well before it's over with. But I got to make sure I can get they're cool with me doing that because I'm gonna have to share the content and all that jazz. So this is kind of your basic, but it's a little bit more fun loving fantasy RPG. So, Grim Fandango, I have not played that. I was trying to think what else. So yeah, some upcoming things I'll tell you guys about. I announced early on in the stream, as I'm kind of wrapping up here. You can expect more Scum and Villainy coming to the channel because I, one, picked up the book, and two, have decided to run a full campaign with the original crew. So that will be coming in September. More importantly, for those of you that have been missing your Witch Girls, we will also be back with them this month, in the month of August. So be prepared for that. That will be coming hard at you. I believe the start date is hang on, let me double check. The start date is the 20th. So 2 weeks' time, Witch Girl Adventures will be back. In 4 weeks' time, Scum and Villainy will be back. And we'll run those for the following 8 weeks. And then I've got some things moving down the pipeline. I got an offer today for something that'll be coming new in the month of October, which will be very exciting. Though it won't be here on the Dot Lot. You'll have to check me out on somebody else's channel. But a good friend and somebody I've not gamed with in a long time, which will be really, really exciting. And then last but certainly not least, there will be one of the big games that had some playtesting happening at Gen Con this year was the Aliens RPG. And so I have working with a group of people that are going to be using it to do a one-shot playtest. I'll be back at Jasper Jinx. That's my ongoing campaign with Maggie. But yes, here on the Dot Lot, we will continue with Witch Girl Adventures and Scum and Villainy, and then I will be playing through kind of the usual, I guess you could say, stuff over on other people. So expect me and an Aliens one-shot coming up. I can't tell you a whole lot more than that at the moment. And then another campaign that's also not been announced that'll be coming hard at you real soon. And then, well, if you're watching Grimjack play that, then you can be prepared to watch me come to his channel in October for something. Which is going to be a lot of fun. Grim and I haven't played together in a while, so yeah. And then, of course, I could sit here all day and tell you all the amazing people that I had an opportunity to meet, including many of you in chat. I got to sit down with Jonathan Fry. We had a really great conversation. The panel that North by Northwest ran, that I sat on Saturday at Gen Con, was a really fantastic conversation about story and how to build story into your games as not just a player and not just a GM, but in general. What makes great story? And why is that important in campaign planning and campaign building? So yeah, that was a really interesting conversation, and I'm sure I'll follow up on that. But I have got like a stack of things to play, and a stack of things to do. Oh, thanks guys. Yeah, it's always nice to meet all of you in person. It's it's one of those things where, you know, when you find people that you tell story with and that like your stories, you share something. Like at the core of that, there's a shared thing there, and it binds us. It connects us. It's why fandoms work the way they do, right? It's why we want to go to conventions. And so always getting to sit around and to see so many people playing games, telling stories, to get to meet all of you in person simply to say, hi, my name is, hi, I'm an actual person, not just behind a screen. It means a lot. So do plan next year, Gen Con. We will be having another .con meetup, probably again on Friday evening, but I've got us a new venue picked out that has a small bowling alley and arcade games as well. So just know that will be happening for any of you maybe planning on your Gen Con 2020. I have been asked back onto the production team for their Twitch channel, so I will continue running Twitch for them, Gen Con Twitch next year. And yeah, so lots of fun things coming your way. Yeah. I was trying to think, what else? We haven't really announced it officially for North by Northwest yet, but I would feel like I'm comfortable enough to say that volume 3 of the podcast is wrapping up. Which means we, as North by Northwest does, we always change GM. And I will be up next to GM the 4th volume of North by Northwest, and yeah, that's going to be coming up really soon, so be on the lookout for that. And the month of August, since I'm kind of taking some time off, you know, I've got a couple weeks with Witch Girls down. Scum and Villainy is not coming back until September. I am going to be building some cosplay. So you're going to see some new stuff here on the channel. Dragon Con's coming up, and I've got some things that I want to get ready and together for that. So expect some odd cosplay building and some small things happening here on the channel throughout. I clearly have some games to plan, so you may see that coming up. But you can continue to catch me Thursdays over on Unmade Gaming's channel for Men of Letters. You can find me on Thursday evenings, late, 10 p.m. EST, over on Margaret Crone's channel as we continue our little witch adventure. I think the plan is we're going to have one more and then, like, close this little season out, and then we're coming back. We're going to take a few weeks off. And then, of course, you can always find me on Roll4's channel on Saturdays for the Game of Thrones Riverlands campaign that's currently running. You know, obviously I couldn't be there this past weekend, so I have this moment where I'm like, what happened while we were gone? It makes me so nervous. I just need everybody to know that. It makes me super duper nervous. Yeah, and then, you know, the usual happenings as they go through. So there will be some things, definitely some things coming. And Owl of Lycia is going to continue, so you can always turn in to see the good old Owl campaign running here on the channel. So yeah, Gen Con 2019. Did it, ran it, was there, nailed it, did it. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. Are there any particular questions you want to ask about Gen Con? Because if not, then I'm going to close this little stream out and call it an early night because I need sleep so that I can, you know, survive. Any questions from you? Excuse me. Yeah, you vote Dot gets sleep, yeah. I talked a lot about it, and I'm sure I'll talk some more. I definitely will have, yeah, I went to Gen Con, and all I got was no sleep, lots of beer, tons of fellowship, and this giant stack of books. Yeah. Yeah. Goodness, yeah. So, yeah, things moving forward are going to be good. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm going to be bringing to the channel and a lot of stuff. So, yes, I'm going to go have my best multicolored dreams that I possibly can. For all of you that tuned in, I really appreciate it. And remember, this stack of books was given to me by Renegade Games because they are wonderful, kind, and amazing humans. Do me a favor and go show them some love. If you don't follow them online, you need to be checking out their content. I walked up and down the entirety of the floor there at Gen Con, and their booth and their RPGs really stood out. There's something terribly unique about them. And so I'm really excited to be playing them, but more importantly, when we have gaming companies that make quality content, when we support them, they can continue to make quality content. So go support them, go show them some love. And definitely check it out. Yes, of course, Cole. And you know what, I'll tell you this too. For those of you that could not be at Gen Con or may not be able to make Gen Con, one of the great things about Gen Con is that they now have three Twitch channels when the convention is actually live. Throughout the year, you can go check them out at Gen Con TV. So twitch.tv/Gen Con TV. And they're going to have content rolling throughout the entirety of the year leading up to Gen Con. More importantly, everything that was on the main stage, all the live play shows and studio interviews with game designers are all available currently as a VOD on their Twitch channel. You don't have to be a subscriber. You can gain direct access to it. And if nothing else, I encourage you to go check out the ridiculous Dungeon World stream that I was a part of called Into the Dungeon World Part 1. Because it was silly and ridiculous, and I played a character that has a camel hump. So if you've been waiting for that your whole life, now you can, you can check it out. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna sign off for the night. Thank you all for who tuned in, checked this out, and let me pick your ears and share my haul from the Gen Con experience. I was going to say what you can check me in this week. I think Thursday's actually the first thing. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break. I may actually, tomorrow night's looking like I'm going to have dinner with my father. He's going to be coming through town. And then I gotta go like fabric shopping. I'm like 4 weeks out from Dragon Con and I've not started building anything. So, thanks Uncanny Adventures. Really appreciate that. But make sure that you follow and subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Following is totally free. Subscribing's not, but you get some cool emotes when you hang out. And yeah, and more importantly, if you just want to keep up with what I'm doing, you can join the social media, or kind of follow me on all the social media channels there. And more importantly, you can always come join the Discord, where anybody is welcome. All dots are welcome here. And oh, hey, Uncanny. Yeah, you just tuned in. I was closing out my stream. We did a giant unboxing and review of all of my haul from Gen Con. So, yeah, and of course, you can always hit YouTube. I know I'm kind of slow at getting my videos up. Don't judge me. I'm just a single dot. It's just me that runs this little dot lot. So, yeah, you'll definitely have to catch the VOD. I nerded out a bit hard over Overlight, so pretty exciting. So, yeah, until next time, gang. You stay classy, and if you guys got questions about Gen Con, come hit me up in the Discord, and we'll chat and start planning. There is going to be a .con meetup at, if I manage to figure out how to get myself there. For those of you attending PAX Unplugged, I do want to make sure you know I'm trying to get there. I'm hoping to have a live show of Witch Girl adventures with some of our witches and a few of our old witches, and I will hold a .con meetup there as well. So if you couldn't make Gen Con, but you have plans to go to PAX Unplugged in December, fingers crossed that this dot will be there, and more importantly, if I am, we will have another chance to shake hands and to share laughter and stories. So until next time, you stay classy, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.